Welcome to Life on Life's Terms. My name is Kenny, and we are going to get into eating for competitions, cutting season, bulking season, how to get the best results with or without supplements, and eating clean versus cheat days. But first, I'll do the shout-outs. Since it's always training season, what does your meal plan look like? Is keeping a healthy diet robbing from your palate and triggering unhealthy cravings? Keep on your A game and stop cravings at the same time with Onopoke. Onopoke is a perfect place to stuff your face with something that ties into your fitness goals. Try miso salmon poke, spicy Thai salmon, or the albacore tuna on your choice of veg, quinoa, or rice. Eat healthy, eat right, eat Onopoke. Would you like to feel like an astronaut? Would you like to detach from this world for a little while? Where is the best place to do this? Well, our friends at Modern Gravity, for only $39.99, you can have the astronaut experience and detach from the world for hours a session. For more details, please visit Modern Gravity website at www.moderngravity.com. What's up, Shane?
Not much.
I'd like to introduce everybody to the Mr.
Shane White.
Shane White. He's a professional bodybuilder in my eyes, and when he's up on the stage, he does competitions. What type of competitions do you do, Shane?
Currently, right now, I'm doing the over 40 class and the open class for heavyweight.
Nice. I met Shane. He came and did a presentation when I was at school for personal training, and out of all the people that came in to kind of like recruit us into their gyms, Shane was the best looking one by far. He's
kind.
He's fucking jacked. So I was honestly lucky to have this gentleman train me for my practicum, and I learned a lot working with you, Shane.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Good.
So why are you a bodybuilder?
Nice question. It goes right back to when I was a kid, watching a bodybuilding competition on TV, and I liked it. I liked how the guys looked, and thought, I want that. I want to have those kind of builds, and I want to do that one day. And you put something in your bucket list, and started weight training when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
Really never had the look that I felt that was needed to be up on a stage until I was over 40, and I finally hired a personal trainer to take me to that next level. I mean, my brother-in-law, who's got MS, he had hired a trainer and ended up on the stage at the age of 40, and I was like, what's my excuse, right? So I was like, well, I need, I asked him, I said, can I hire your trainer? I hired his trainer, and, a year later I was up on a stage and placed pretty good for my first show, and just loved the experience, loved the look. I'll tell you, I mean, it made a huge difference having a trainer. Yeah.
So that was like the turning point, like the pinnacle of change is when you hired a trainer?
Yeah, and you and I are going to talk about nutrition. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about today will be probably from my own experience, and just how getting that piece right, getting the training piece right, and it makes all the difference in the world. And it's a personal trainer can tie those pieces together.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I aspire to have your body one day as well. Not like yours, but something close to yours. Right?
Yeah.
I want your body, Shane. And for me, it's like I have a hard time like committing and sticking to it. Even though like I'm a personal trainer now, whoop-de shit.
Yeah.
I have a hard time like keeping my ass in the gym and keeping my ass out of the lineup at McDonald's. Where do you find the discipline?
Oh, shoot. I think maybe I got ADHD. I don't know. I'm a freak of nature, maybe. It's, and I think about it, 14 years old, and weight training, and I tell you how many plateaus I hit. I mean, there's so many, like it just, you get so far and then never get past it. And oh my goodness, and then years go by, and all of a sudden I'm 42 years old, and I've been benching 315 for one rep for 20 years,
Wow.
Never getting past that, and maybe squatting 3 plates for 3 or 4 reps, and then
3 plates aside?
yeah, and like so 315 again, like, and never getting past that. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I bought at the nutrition store or how I ate, or I mean, it just.
Let's poke at that for a second here. So you never noticed like big difference off any supplements, like from like Popeyes or a store, or like
no, not at all. And honestly, like, I haven't taken anything as far as a pre-workout or creatine or glutamine in over 2 years. Yeah.
What do you think about those products? Like, did you just stop taking it because you weren't getting the results? Did you feel like it was damaging like your body or your liver, or it was just too much money? Like, what was the reason? All the above?
So, well, you and I both took the course at Elevated Learning Academy, right? So,
Yeah.
one of the things I think it kind of dawned on me is, I think the biggest problem that we have out there in the fitness industry is there's so much coverage of everything that you don't even know what to believe, whether it's true or not, right? So,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of hype around supplements, and I get why, right? There's so many people out there that are,
Trying to make a buck.
yeah, they're trying to get your money out of you. So, and they know that your desire is to have a build or to get big or to grow, and I, to be honest with you, I knew my diet was on par, right? I had my diet down right. I was getting gains. I wasn't plateauing anymore. Significantly growing every year. I put on at least 6 pounds of muscle a year.
Wow.
So when you get that kind of progressions and your strength continues to climb, in all aspects of your workout, and you have to question yourself, okay, well, is what I'm taking as far as supplements actually helping? So, that was one of the reasons, like, I was in the class at Elevated Learning Academy, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to go off all of it,
Yeah.
and see if anything changed. And nothing changed. In fact, I felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, less toxins in your body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So is 6 pounds a year? That's pretty huge for muscle gains.
At my stage, probably. Yeah. I think at the beginning stages, you could probably put on more, but I to put on more than a pound of muscle a month is pretty hard. It's pretty difficult. Yeah.
I heard one time before, and this is probably just a farce, but somebody told me that if you're putting on any more than a pound a year of lean muscle, then it's just fat or water weight.
Well, the easiest way to find out is to diet down, and I do that every year. So I'm typically 6 pounds heavier on stage every year. So that's how I know I'm.
How many
pounds.
years consecutively have you been keeping that?
This will be the 5th year, so 4 years consecutively, and this will be my 5th year. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So, what does your diet look like to get those gains?
So I eat 6 times a day.
Okay.
And then, so in off season, I have a minimum. I try to eat a minimum of 8 ounces of meat protein, or 50 grams of protein per meal. Okay. So that's 300 grams of protein per day. And at 220 pounds, like I'm sitting at 220 today, that's probably a good amount of protein. Maybe, still maybe a little bit excessive when you think of when you look at the nutrition guidelines, it
Yeah.
might be a little bit excessive, but when it comes to recovery of the muscle, I mean, you got to make sure that you've got protein coming in. Okay, carbs wise, off season, I try to do a minimum of 600 grams of carbs, 600 grams of carbs a day. So you split that out to about 100 grams of carbs per meal, and then whatever veggies or whatever on top of it. So bulking season, I have a minimum of 600 grams of carbs, 300 grams of protein, and then whatever I want inside those meals. I just eat whatever, whether it's fruit or I want a donut or whatever. I just eat it. Like, I don't care. I just eat it.
So you don't have any like specific cheat days? If you feel like eating a donut, you're going to eat a donut?
Off season, no. Off season, I try to cheat all the time, to be honest. Yeah, because, prep, when you're prepping for a show, you don't cheat at all, so...
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many months of the year are you preparing for a show?
So this year I started prepping February 1st, and the show is May 31st. So 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah. So I typically like to do 5 months, but I mean, being dumb, I decided not to look to see when the show was until like halfway through February, and then I realized, oh crap!
Oh, shit.
The show's like a month early, and I'm like, oh crap! I gotta catch up a month. So, but with that said, 16 weeks to 20 weeks is probably is a good time frame for a man. I'll say that for a man, in my opinion, for a man, 20 weeks is good. You don't want to diet too fast because you don't want to lose any muscle mass.
Yeah.
For a woman, depending on how much fat percentage she's at, I would say a minimum 20, if not more.
Why, you say that women lose weight slower?
Yeah, it's harder for a woman to lean out,
Okay.
for a show. I actually feel bad for women. They got to do a lot more than a guy has to get leaned out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
What's your carb intake on when you're cutting?
300 grams or less.
300 grams or
Yeah,
less.
so it's about 50 grams of carbs and 50 grams of protein at the beginning stages. Towards, I'd say about 4 weeks out, you go down to about 30 or less, depending on how much fat you're still carrying on your body. And you deplete out till about 4 or 5 days before the show, and then you start carb loading.
Why does carbs have such an effect on our body fat?
Well, well, if you got too much of it, the body stores it as fat. The glucagon turns into the body, turns it into fat and puts it in your fat cells.
One of the things Justin and I have heard of, but haven't done it ourselves, is I've heard of bodybuilders slamming a can of Coke right after the gym. Why is that?
I have no idea.
No?
That just sounds weird to me.
I heard that to replenish the glycogen cells.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I wouldn't use Coke. I mean, but yeah. So you're talking about a post-workout meal. I think is what you're trying to say, right? A post-workout meal. So, so typically right after a workout, I look at it like a 45-minute window to get the glucagon back into your system and the protein back into your system. You should eat, and eating something that is a quick carb like Coke would be it's all sugar, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a quick way to replenish your glucagon levels is with Coke, but I wouldn't call it a good way. But I mean,
so do you know the science behind that? If you replenish your glucagon levels or whatever, what does that have to do with building muscle?
oh, it gives your body something to repair with, right? So when you're in the gym working out, you got three sources of storage of energy, right? You've got your muscles that are holding glucagon in them, and you got your liver that's got glucagon in it for energy, and then you've got your fat cells that can be transformed into energy. So when you're in the gym and you deplete out your muscles, then all of a sudden your liver empties its glucagon out back into your muscles to finish off the workout, and then now you're sitting with nothing in your system. Okay, so
Then you start burning fat.
well, typically you would, but the risk is that you'd burn muscle because muscle reversed protein synthesis is quicker energy, and it takes less energy to create. So
Because you got to turn the fat to sugar to burn it up.
in order to burn the fat off, it
Yeah.
takes. I don't know if it's. I think I recall from the class.
9 kcals.
Yeah, but it's. I think it's like 100 times slower to convert fat into energy than it is to convert muscle. So, and as a bodybuilder, the last thing you want to do is lose muscle, right? So,
Yeah.
so you want to slam some, a quick carb in, get some protein in your body, so that your body has got something to work with immediately for recovery.
So do you get enough branch chain amino acids from food?
From animal protein, yeah. Yeah. Now, when it comes to plant protein, no. I mean, not all plants have the 8 essential amino acids in them. So that's the only time that I would say BCAAs are probably a good thing to supplement with.
Is if you're a vegan.
If you're a vegan, yeah. No, if you're eating animal protein like I do, 6 times a day, running a BCA is it's senseless because, in my opinion, because you're getting a complete protein anyway, so there's no sense of flooding the system with something that doesn't need to be flooded with. So
Have you watched that documentary on Netflix called What the Health?
no.
Oh,
No, I haven't.
fuck. Okay, I watched it the other day.
Yeah.
And I called Justin. I was like, I'm fucking turning vegan. This is disgusting. There's so much like propaganda shit in that documentary about veganism.
Oh, wow.
And like, I'm not hating on veganism or anything like that, but like, they made every type of animal protein, meat, milk, yogurt, everything just seem absolutely disgusting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's a shame because now like I haven't had milk or cream in my coffee for 2 days. I threw the yogurt in the garbage,
Yeah.
and I'm like, even though I love cheese, like I'm never eating fucking cheese again. Like, all the like they're like, yeah, they're allowed to have like pus in it, and like all ground beef has shit in it, and like
Oh, that's a little far fetched. I mean, I was raised on a dairy farm, so we I've slaughtered animals and stuff like that. I mean, come on. You slaughter the animal, you clean it, and then everything gets. I mean, that's a little.
I honestly, I would like you to watch it and then give me feedback on it because right now I'm fucking traumed out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's a fast food chain out there. I'm not going to name them, but they say that they're steroid free. The animal meat that they have is steroid free. I mean, well, aren't most animal meat steroid free? Like, I mean, unless the feedlot is putting, and I don't know why they would do this, hitting their animals with steroids constantly, then I mean, it's all steroid free, right? I mean,
in that documentary, it said that more pharmaceuticals are produced in America, like I think it was like times 20 or something for animals than there is for human beings in the States, and that's a large population, right?
Yeah.
So you working on a dairy farm before with animals and everything like that before, and you're in fucking great shape, healthy as a horse. So there's got to be some contradiction here.
Yeah.
There has to be some phony baloney shit.
Well, it's scare tactics, right? I mean, and it's using propaganda. Like, I think anybody could say that all their meat is steroid free. I don't think it matters. I don't think it would matter. Just because you claim it doesn't mean that. I mean, unless you've. And again, I don't know. We never used steroids with our animals when we had the dairy farm, and I didn't know any of the farmers around us that had beef cattle that used steroids with their animals. Like, it just. So that's where, to me, it's when I hear stuff like that, I just call bogus on it because I've been on the ground level working. I've worked at farms. I've worked in dairy. I've worked in, with beef animals, and I mean, just.
What's your how's your blood sugar levels?
Mine?
Yeah.
Currently, now that I'm prepping, probably fairly low. Like not a high.
But like,
I don't spike it very.
You're not like pre-diabetic or like.
No, I don't have any issues.
Because like what they were saying in this documentary is that by eating meat and a high fat diet, that is what causes diabetes more than sugar.
Oh.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
if you're eating fucking how many calories of protein, animal protein every day, and your blood sugar levels are fine, well, maybe we should write the director a letter of that documentary.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Take a look at this, right, and just flex and take a picture.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, we got a little bit off topic there. With your clients.
Yeah.
What's the best way for you to get like your average new to the gym, anywhere from like 30 to 45-year-old client, the best results?
So what I've found most successful is to just get people stronger and have them lifting more weight and just and get their muscle density up so that they're burning more calories. The one thing that I have zero control of is how people eat,
Yeah.
And so the only thing I have control of is how hard they work out in front of me. So I make them work out hard, and I give them heavy weights. I mean, you've seen it. I trash my clients pretty good, and I throw weight at them. I'm not afraid to throw weight at them because I know if they lift properly, they won't hurt themselves, right? So that's where I find my biggest success is in doing that. Now, I talk to my clients about diet. I talk to them about, how they eat. I give them pointers on, maybe you should cut this out. Maybe you should cut that out. Maybe you should try doing this. Eat more often, smaller meals. Get your protein up a little bit so that your body has something to recover with. And I have those discussions with them. I talk about cardio, what kind of cardio would be most effective for them. And
because everybody's different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you do any cardio?
When I'm prepping for a show, yeah.
I've never seen you do cardio.
No, I know. I did 20 minutes before I came here, and I'm going to do 20 minutes again after I leave. But yeah, I do cardio when I'm prepping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like working in the gym with you is fucking hilarious, man. Like we had these little old ladies in there, like benching a plate aside almost.
Yeah.
And they're like 55, 60 years old, just like going.
Well, yeah, or pulling 60 or 80 or 100 pounds, on a wide grip lat pull down, or leg extending 70 pounds, women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by that, and like it totally changed my whole dynamic. But because like I have a hard time controlling my diet. I'm weak as fuck. Like if I smell something good, chances are I'm going to cave.
Right.
So like I've adapted your belief system that as long as I lift heavy in the gym and have some more muscle, then I'll be burning more calories. And I'm not like, I don't have the body of a Greek god like you, but I've maintained not to get fat.
Right.
At least.
Yeah.
And I have some muscle mass.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest with you, like, so here's a thought, just a pointer, right? You can have all those cravings. Just make sure you have 50 grams of protein and 50 grams or 100 grams of carbs every 3 hours. And then eat whatever the hell you want around it.
Well, you're not going to be eating much around it because you'll be full of grams and protein and carbs.
But I mean, you can. It's not like you know what I'm saying. Like, it's like a carpenter going to build a house. Well, and if you don't take the concrete to put the basement in first, I mean, you're just building on dirt and sand, right? So, I mean, have your concrete basement, your 6 meals a day, and then build around it.
So that's what you suggest for
anybody.
What about somebody trying to lose weight?
Same thing. I mean, you want to do the 6 meals a day if you can. Just because if the body doesn't feel like it's starving, then odds are your metabolism's going to burn hotter and you're going to burn more calories, right? So, and again, I mean, think of it this way. I mean, I tell people we store fat and we store protein, but the protein we store is in our muscles, and that's the first thing the body will take energy from because it's the quicker energy. Fat is the slower energy. So if you don't eat every 3 hours, what's going to happen? Your body's just going to
from your muscles.
Yeah, it'll take from the muscles first, right? So maintain your muscle mass. Eat every 3 hours, and then if you can keep your calories, at a reasonable level, you should be able to burn your fat off.
So what's your take on intermittent fasting?
I think it's personally, I think it's the stupidest thing ever. I never intermittent fast, and I think anybody that does it they don't understand the science of the body. In my opinion. I mean, like I said, 3 hours, and now you're gonna erode your muscle away. Why would you do that? It takes so much work to get your muscle there. Why would you even? Why would you risk it?
Do you wake up in the middle of the night and eat?
On off season, yeah. I will eat if I'm hungry in the middle of the night. Yeah.
See that's because I've watched lots of little skits and podcasts on intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And I was pretty intrigued by it.
Yeah.
And even like Jared, like the teacher at the Elevated Learning Academy.
Yeah.
He was intermittent fasting, and he's like, yeah, I do it, and it works for me. But he wasn't the skinniest guy, right?
Right. And people do get success with it, right? But Intermittent fasting is like you know what happens? Like you get rid of the carbs in your system, you lose water, right? You get four molecules of H2O go with every gram of carb. Okay, take all the glucon out of your system. What happens? You're just drier. Okay, so literally, a gallon of water is 10 pounds. Okay, you drop all the water, you drop all the glucon out of your system. The possibility of losing 5 to 10 pounds is pretty easy. Okay, so intermittent fasting works for me. Why? Well, because I got all the glucon out of my system, and I dropped all that water, and now I'm like 5 to 8 or 10 pounds lighter. But that's not fat. That's water. And in the meantime, your muscles eroding, and now, depending on how much muscle you lost, you're going to burn less calories tomorrow than you did today.
Just changed my whole perspective on it, Shane.
That's what I say. Like when people intermittent fast, they don't understand the science of the body. They don't get it. And I'm like,
so where'd
why
you
would
learn
risk
that?
it?
Because we didn't learn that in school. Well, I think you just knew the right questions to ask.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my class was a little different than everybody else's because I mean, I really
You really challenged the teachers to.
Chris and Jared were challenged big time because I knew everything else, and what I didn't know, that's what I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of research too. So, but I mean, yeah, no, it's just. I mean, and well, look at me. You don't look like this if you don't understand the science of the body. Like you have to understand how to keep the muscle on. I mean, there is a science behind it, and if you don't understand it, you're going to struggle with keeping muscle and losing fat.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. So, how long do you train for?
No more than an hour. I mean, I've done the 2-3 hour workouts, and yeah, no, I'll never do it again. I get way more out of the 1 hour or less workouts.
Like more results?
Yeah, way more gains. Yeah.
Do you ever train multiple times in a day?
I have, depending, if I'm traveling or something like that, I'll do. If I want to do a full week's worth of workouts, I'll do morning, evening, and then morning, and then I'm done for the week.
Okay.
Because I work out on off season 5 days a week. And then I'm done in 2.5 days, and then I enjoy the rest of the week and have so when I'm on vacation, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
When I'm not, I just do the one time a day.
And then, like, coming up to a show, how often do you train?
I go to 7 days a week coming up to a show. Yeah. So any week area, I train. I do additional work on the 7th day, and the 6th day I train my glutes and my hamstrings a little more. One of the biggest things is when you're in a show, what really separates people is the back and not the front, because people can see their front, so they train it better.
Yeah.
So I focus another day on the back side of my body just to make sure that it's
for the 4 months going up to the show.
Yeah, so that it's more ready, so that I have more of a winning chance. Yeah.
I do neglect more of my glutes and my hamstrings loads too.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
And you think that's because we don't see it?
And rear delts, lats, and glutes and hams. Yeah, people don't see them. So.
Well, I've been focusing on my rear delts like more than anything else because I want that like upper body V.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I was having like my scaps were like
coming forward
yeah. from not working my backside enough. So then once I started like working on my scap strength, I noticed my back straightening out, and then when I hit the rear delts, I noticed my shoulders widening up.
Yeah, and then then they're rounder on the backside too. So yeah,
yeah, but I'm still kind of flabby because I don't diet.
Well, it's not dieting; it's just eating. It's just eating, right? Yeah,
slacking on the eating. What's the stupidest question somebody's ever come up to you in the gym and asked?
Oh, what's the this tops them all, to be honest. What's the lowest? What's the fruit that has the lowest amount of carbs in them? And I you gotta. I got that. I didn't even answer it. That's all fruit is carbs. Like it's sugar. Yeah. That was a winner. I'd say that's probably got to be the number one. Yeah.
So Justin and I often bring up, we have like the goal of four or the rule of four, where
Yeah.
we like in the morning times we like humble ourselves and we do something physical, and then we like straighten out our emotions and make sure that our emotions are in check, and then we try to do something of service for the rest of the day or during the day.
Yeah.
And like for me, one of the big ones for like humbling myself, like I just, I just ask like the universe, help me like do good today and whatever, God odd, whatever. And then like I make my bed, keep my shit in check, because if I don't make my bed, I'm fucked. And try to do something physical. Usually that might not happen first thing in the morning for me, depending on my schedule. But and being in service could be like anything. The podcast is being in service, is we provide information to people.
Yeah.
But do you have anything like that helps you stick to your regimen?
Yeah. So, I guess wake up in the morning is, basically, I don't know if I necessarily focus on humbling myself. I try to be humble every day regardless. So, it just seems to be pretty natural for me, I guess. At least I try.
Well, honestly, like for a professional bodybuilder with a fucking impeccable body, like, and I've worked out with you for weeks, right? Like
Yeah.
training in the gym. I did my practicum with you.
Yeah.
But you are a very humble guy.
Yeah.
Like if I had your body, like I'd be a fucking mess. Like people would hate my guts.
Yeah, that is the risk, right? So, but I shower. That's pretty routine every day for me. I shower in the morning, and then basically I go to the gym, and if I'm not training somebody, I train myself in the morning, right? And being a service, I love training people, and one of the reasons why I got into this business of training is. I spent from 14 years old to just over 40 before I was able to fulfill my dream of bodybuilding and being on a stage, right? So one of the reasons why I got into it was to shorten that time span for anybody. I mean, I would love one day for a 14-year-old kid that had the same passion that I did at 14 to say, hey, can you make me a champion? I'd be like, oh, I'll be all over that, because I could do what I do to myself, to that person, and hopefully have him winning, when he's 17, 18, 19, 20, and not wait till he's 44 before he gets up on a stage. But even over and above that, I don't think you've even seen that. If somebody walks in and they've got pain or they've got issues with their muscles or whatever, I'm all over that. Like, I'm all about fixing them and making them pain-free. And so, yeah, like, I love this job. I love it because I can help people, and I can get them to closer to their dream of fitness than they can on their own.
Yeah. And I've seen that too. Like, when I was doing my practicum with you, like clients come in and they, their hips are wonky, or they're, they're not able to move certain things. And we learned that in school too, that like through training, like actual weight training, you can fix so many body malfunctions.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's like the most memorable like thing that you've ever seen somebody like kind of like fix or restore through working out and healthy living?
So the biggest, I guess the most amazing story I think that I have in my life when it comes to that is my brother-in-law, who has the MS. Diagnosed with MS at a young age, told that he was going to be in a wheelchair by the time he was 40. He decided that he was going to change his life and got into bodybuilding and started working out. Now, I wasn't his trainer at the time, but he made some really significant changes, and he did the bodybuilding show and at the age of 40, and he's 44 now and still not in a wheelchair. Okay, let me just say that he's still not in a wheelchair, and in fact, every time he goes for his checkup, his doctor is basically saying his MS is getting, like, he's better. Like, it's not getting worse. It's actually going the other way. Right.
Wow.
So, when I started working with him about 2.5 years ago, like he hadn't felt his right leg in probably, 6 to 10 years. And by changing a few things, and just by observing and trying a few, different techniques with him, and just, taking the training that I had learned from Elevated Learning Academy, and just kind of, I had a couple theories and I tried them on him and they worked. And we managed to get him to feel his leg. And the guy cried. He literally broke down crying because he's, man, I haven't felt my leg in years. Like I can't even tell you when I felt it last. And I can get that guy to feel his leg. Like he can feel his leg every week now.
On leg day.
On leg day, yeah. I try not to do it early in the leg day because then it's a terrible workout. But I tell you, like, and then so his walking has improved and everything because of that. So that I would say that's the most significant story of,
Yeah. Well, MS is autoimmune disorder, right?
Yeah.
And that's remarkable.
Well, the
stuff.
body loses its connection to the mind, right? So the mind it's unable to send the signal to the muscle to do the work.
So it only makes sense, because it's all about mind muscle connection when you're working out, to activate it, to be able to flex it, to turn it on.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I started with him, his right leg was an inch smaller than his left, and they're even now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bit back to diet. Have you ever heard anything about like gut health?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I've done colon hydrotherapy. I used it like this. I was dating this girl, and she worked at a business doing colon hydrotherapy, and she was like this little hippie with dreads, and she was a vegan, and she thought that eating red meat and high sugar diets is the cause to all the malfunctions in health, and that it causes yeast buildup, which causes leaky gut syndrome, which pollutes the body and sends all these toxins everywhere and causes all kinds of fuckery in the body.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any issues from eating such a high protein diet?
I don't know if I'd blame it on the high protein diet. I've always had, historically, I've had issues with my guts. I couldn't even tell you for how long. It was years that I think you and I talked about it. I think it was 2 years ago. I decided to. I had read up on some on hydrogen peroxide therapy.
Yeah,
methods.
H2O2.
H2O2, yeah. So I ended up reading up on hydrogen peroxide, food grade hydrogen peroxide, and using it for your guts. And so I decided to give it a try, and I did, and I did it, and sure enough, the changes in my guts were just amazing, absolutely amazing. I went from having issues to feeling really good, and found that I got more out of what I was eating, and I could eat less without having to and get the same results that I was getting before. But yeah, it was not to indulge too much information, but it. I was going to the bathroom more often than I was eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it basically irritable bowel syndrome, right? So
yeah.
But then when I did the H2O2 for 6 months, that cleaned all that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing H2O2 now for about I'd say about 8 months.
Yeah.
And actually, I've hardly gotten sick, except for lately. Actually, I got this cough going on right now.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I gotta quit smoking. But I haven't had near as much issues. I haven't been as gassy as I used to be, or anything. I noticed when I was in jail and I was eating all that processed food and kimchi's and just garbage.
Right.
I was farting all the time.
Yeah.
So, do you take? Speaking of farting,
Yeah.
do you drink protein shakes?
One a day
One a
right
day.
now, but come at 10 weeks out, I'm going to change to eggs. I won't be doing the protein shakes. I'll be doing
Just straight egg whites,
Yeah.
just
yeah.
liquid egg whites. Just slam one of those little.
No,
cartons.
I'll probably cook it.
Have you ever made a protein shake with the liquid egg whites?
No.
I tried it once. It was pretty gross.
Yeah. I used to do
So thick. It was
Yeah,
too thick. Yeah.
I used to do eggs in the blender. I won't do that again. I mean, that was
Silly to say.
I'll cook them.
Yeah. Thanks, Arnie.
Yeah,
Hey?
yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
How prevalent is the use of steroids in bodybuilding?
Well, when it comes to, so I've never done a natural show. Okay, so let me just say that I've never done a natural show, and I couldn't do a natural show. I'll just say that. Okay, I don't know anybody that gets on the stage beside me that's not on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they are, they're not up at the top 5. I'll say that.
So, do you talk to your doctor about this?
Oh yeah, and I get my blood checked on a regular basis too. So, and I don't take an exorbitant amount too. Like I'm one of these guys that takes. I think less is more.
Yeah.
For me it is.
Yeah.
And some of my peers, I hear what they're on, and I just shake my head. I just I don't know how you're alive. Like
yeah, your poor liver.
Yeah, or just your body in general. I just can't imagine taking that amount. I do have a prescription for testosterone that I take.
Yeah.
That's basically hormone replacement levels, and I'm good with that, and that works really well for me.
Yeah.
I don't try to get higher than that. I've never found that when I got higher than that I felt good. So I just stay with replacement levels, which is fine. And
Yeah. Well, they give like cops and like guys in the military pharmaceutical grade testosterone just to keep their levels just a little bit above average, so that they're on point.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and it's and I find it. I feel good on it. Right. So. But I do take a little bit depending, and it's usually off season. I don't tend to anymore.
Yeah.
I used to. I haven't found the value in taking a bunch. That's something I've kind of steered away from over the last year and a half. But going into a show, when it comes to leaning out, it is very helpful. It does help lean you out and give you that chiseled look. So I will do some up to the show. Yeah.
And you got a healthy liver?
My liver enzymes have always been a little elevated, and when I mean a little, just over a little bit.
Yeah.
And kidney function's always good. I found when I was drinking too much water, my kidney function was elevated, so I dropped the water down. I was drinking over 1 gallon a day and went down to 2 liters a day, and the kidney function went to normal then.
It was like overworked with all the water? Or?
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, that's the only thing I changed. And I mean, I'm pretty meticulous about eating the same thing every day and doing the same thing every day. So when you change one thing and something gets better, it's pretty evident that was the issue, right? So
Yeah.
pretty sure it was the water drinking. But whether I'm taking a little bit of steroids or not, my liver function remains the same. So it doesn't change. So it's not taxing the liver. But again, I don't take exorbitant amounts. I mean, I know people that take 4 times or more than what I take. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessary. Like looking at you.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. No.
So I was when I was watching that documentary, What the Health, they had this guy on there, and he was a vegan bodybuilder. And he swore by eating vegan protein. Have you ever tried like vegan protein?
Like protein powder or?
Yeah, either from food. Like, well, obviously you've tried beans and tofu, but like vegan protein powder.
Well, and from my understanding, is vegan protein powder. It's plant based, right? But they also, whatever is missing for the 8 essential amino acids, they put them in that protein, so it's complete. So it would be just as good as any whey protein or even animal protein powder. Yeah,
I tried it before, but it tastes like shit.
I've never tried it. I can't imagine. I don't. I'll be honest. I've never found a protein powder that tasted good. So.
I also noticed too, like if I'm like really up in the protein, like if I'm having protein shakes, I notice like my joints, like I get inflammation in my hands. Like I know, like when I was on the rigs, I'm just like a little guy, right? And compared to these other guys, I was a little bitch, and like I had to swing like a sledgehammer one day all day.
Yeah.
And I couldn't like close my hands for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like my joints were just fucked.
Yeah.
And after that trip, like I came home and like I got some steroids just so I can like make it another round on the rigs, because like without it I wouldn't have been able to. Like I was in pain. It fucked me up, right? I wasn't used to that. I went from sitting in a jail cell for like a year and a half to going to work on the rigs.
Yeah.
It was very like physically exhausting.
Yeah.
And then I was stupid enough to like try and work out after a 12-hour shift or something. And
that's a workout in itself though, the rigs.
It didn't last long. Like I only hit the gym like maybe 3 times.
First 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. And then I never went back. But do you ever notice that like having all that protein in your body, like you get any inflammation anywhere?
So the protein powders, yes. And that's one of the reasons why I go off the protein powder at 10 weeks out from a show, because of the water retention. That's one of the things when you're prepping for a show. And I've heard people say you can macro diet to do a show.
What's that?
Macro dieting, that is just making sure that you get the right carb and the protein intake and fat intake per day. It doesn't matter what you eat as long as it's within your macros. Well, that is a load of
shit.
Yeah. Because let's just say processed foods have stuff in it that can cause your body to work harder. And when your body works harder, it holds water and in order to do the processing, right? So macro dieting I don't find is very helpful, because what ends up happening is you look soft because you're retaining water, and you're heavier because you're retaining water. So then what do? You macro diet harder. So you eat less calories. So what ends up happening is you end up not just losing fat, you lose muscle because you're not eating enough. Okay? So that's why at 10 weeks out I go strictly with clean meats. And then clean like either brown rice or potato, and it's literally just baked potato. There's nothing on it. I'll do eggs, I'll do turkey, chicken, and at about 6 weeks out, I'll take hamburger meat out, and just do basically tilapia and then maybe some chicken, and then that'll be it up until the show. So. Because you're drier, right? And that's one of the things that protein powder, I've noticed with protein powder, is that you will hold water. Yeah.
What's your take on like these fad diets, like the keto diet?
I loved keto. I did keto for about 4 months. I couldn't believe how. My mind was so good on it. Like my brain functioned so well on keto.
It did.
Yeah, but I did a carb cycle keto diet. So. Once I was in ketosis for 2 weeks, I had a carb meal, and then after a month, I had another carb meal, and I did that up until the end of 2 months, and then at 2 months, I decided to do a carb day once a week, and then I was great on it at once a week, and then and I did that up to 4 months, and it just unbelievable.
So, like, did you do that pre-show?
No, I just did it to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were the physical results or effects?
Well, my mind was so much clearer. And then when it came to the physical part of it, I was drier. I was a lot drier. And that's because you got no carbs in your system. So your your body is a lot. You're not holding water. You know,
So do you think your mind was better because of it was the high fat content?
the ketones are really good for the brain. I mean, your brain just functions so much clearer on ketones than it does on glucon. Yeah. Yeah, way clearer. I mean, I went from, that was when I was at school in Elevated Learning Academy, and after 2 months, like, I mean, I was taking notes, and I was highlighting everything, and I was reading, and I was struggling to remember anything.
Like
And then-
prior that.
Yeah, within those first 2 months, and
Yeah.
then I was once I hit ketosis, I mean, my note taking dropped off. I stopped highlighting stuff. I read things once, and it stayed in my mind. I just sat in class and absorbed. Like it was insane, the difference.
That's cool to know.
Yeah.
It's almost worth a shot just to try it.
Yeah. Oh, if I ever go to school again, I'm going keto. Yeah.
Really?
Like if I end up in a course, yeah, I'm just going to go to ketosis.
Well, you know what? I actually kind of seen that with this one girl that was in my class.
Yeah.
You know, she was getting like average, you know, results on the test.
Yeah.
And then she started doing keto, and fucking at the end, she like smoke showed everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I tell people
I think she got
this-
the highest mark of the class.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I tell people this story. I had this NHL game on my Xbox. I tell them, and one of the stats on it is your passing percentage when you're playing, and I could never get over 30-40%. Never. And I played that game for years, right? Years. And then when I was in ketosis, 85-90% was my passing percentage.
So your
On every
reflexes, your hand-eye coordination.
I could see it happening before it was happening, and I was passing the puck like crazy. Like it was retarded. It was just, yeah.
That's interesting. I'm going to
Yeah.
look that up personally. I want to learn more about that.
Yeah.
Ketosis versus brain function.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you ever done any other like kind of fad diets?
Not really. No.
Have any of your clients?
Yeah, I hear a lot of diets with them, and I mean the biggest ones are the keto diet or the Weight Watchers, doing the Weight Watchers plan and stuff like that. I hear a lot of that. Yeah.
What do you know anything about like isogenics?
Isogenics. This term sounds familiar, but I'm not.
Yeah, I just heard it recently too. I don't know. That's why I just
Yeah,
thought I'd throw
no.
it at you. No. What's your favorite after the gym meal?
Oh shoot. Probably just hamburgers. Just a hamburger. Just a burger and a Dairy Queen Blizzard. That would be my favorite. Yeah. Chocolate Extreme Blizzard.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There you go, Dairy Queen.
Yeah. That'll be $5,000.
Yeah.
So you have your own brand. Like hey, let's talk about this too. You have a gym at your house.
I do. Yep.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Who
Fitness
does-
studio. Yeah. Training studio.
So
yeah.
in your basement.
No, it's in another building.
Oh, you-
in the yard. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And where'd you get all your equipment from?
Flamin Fitness. I bought some of it from there, but there was a gentleman that posted on Facebook that he was, just
getting rid of some
just
stuff.
getting rid of his studio. He actually had a fitness studio. He was getting rid of it, and my wife seen it, and she said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we build the gym out here? Like because you could train people out here." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So that's what I did, and then, so I bought some rubber matting from Costco for the floor, and
Yeah.
and whatever wasn't in that kit, training studio, I completed it with some equipment from Flamin Fitness. Yeah.
And how often do you train at the house?
Quite often I train at the gym simply because I'm training at LA Fitness. That's where I do most of my clients.
Yeah.
And so I typically train there because that's advertisement for me when I train inside the gym. Now, if I can't get the workout in at the gym, I definitely do it at
Then
the
you
house.
squeeze it in at home.
I squeeze
Yeah, but once you get the pump on and then everybody's walking by looking at this monster, they're like,
Yeah.
I want to get trained by that guy.
Well, and they see what I'm doing too, and they're just like, "Man, that guy's crazy. I want to get trained by him." Yeah,
yeah, if I was working out and you were working out, I would just follow you.
yeah,
I would just,
that
like,
happens
I'd
a lot.
just keep my eyes on you
That
and
happens a
watch
lot.
everything that you're doing. I'd go do it right after you.
I see that all the time, actually. Yeah, it kind of makes me laugh. So
Well, yeah, man, that's awesome. This has been a fun show. I really like it.
Cool.
So if you could like give one message out to anybody on the best way to become a professional bodybuilder, what would you tell them?
Hire me.
And where can we find you?
Well, on Instagram at Ylight Lift Heavy. So, and that's at WHYLITE Lift Heavy, LIFT Heavy, HEAVY, right?
Yeah.
And then on Facebook, it's Shane White Training.
Yes. Why light, lift heavy.
Ylight Lift Heavy.
That's
yeah.
your slogan.
Oh yeah, Ylight Lift Heavy. I like lifting heavy. So
Well, the proof is in the fucking pudding.
yeah,
Well, that's awesome, Shane. It's been a pleasure, man.
cool. Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
It's been a fucking awesome time here. I'm gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay. Please subscribe and share with all your friends. You can find the After the Show blog at www.lifeonlifestermspodcast.com. Please become a Pride member at your soonest convenience by dropping us your email on our website. We will not sell it to anybody, not the Chinese, not anybody. It'll be ours. And we'll only send you cool stuff about the podcast. All right, man. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Adios.